Coming up on MHS1.
We learn about how a teacher overcame the challenges that were thrown at her.
We take a closer look into members of our community.
And see our McKinney Mavericks compete at the event of the year.
And it's all coming up on MHS1.
Good morning, McKinney High School. Today is Friday, May 3rd, and I'm Cam Johnson.
And I'm Monica Newland, and you're watching MHS1.
Hope is found in unusual places. At the Hope Center for Women, unplanned pregnancy is something you don't have to do alone. Mary Beth Plaster and Emily Hauser give us more information.
Hope Women's Center is a clinic that provides services for women who become pregnant and weren't planning on it.
So my name is Holly, and I work at Hope Women's Center, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer here. So Hope Women's Center is a medical clinic for girls who find themselves in unplanned pregnancies, but we also provide STD testing and treatment. Hope Women's Center is located on 2740 Virginia Parkway, and we are both Suite 100 and 200 here in McKinney.
Hope Women's Center started out as just a resource center, but became so much more.
Hope Women's Center started 13 years ago, and it was because we knew there was a growing need in this community of girls who just needed more support when they found themselves in an unintended or unplanned pregnancy. And so that's really where it began, and it evolved from there because it started as a resource center. And a resource center is a place where you can maybe get a pregnancy test, maybe you can get some supplies and resources to help a girl throughout her pregnancy journey. But it was back in 2011 when Hope Women's Center went medical and we became a medical clinic. And that's where we began to offer, obviously, pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, STD testing and treatment, and really became a full-blown medical clinic. Just for a side note, we don't perform abortions here. We don't refer for abortions here. But what we will do is once that girl has made that decision and maybe she's upset with how it went or what she experienced, she can come back and we have got post-abortive support.
Hope Women's Clinic strives to give everyone who walks through their doors one thing: hope.
Hope's mission is really to walk along the journey with a girl who finds herself in an unplanned pregnancy. So the number one thing that we tell almost every girl that walks through our doors is just pause. You don't have to make a decision today, and most of the times you don't have to make a decision in the next few days, but it's just important to not rush into this decision. Our hope is that every girl leaving here feels encouraged and supported and not judged based upon her decision. We have personal opinions on how we would like that thing to go and her choice, but we are not here to pressure her. We are here to encourage her and to educate her.
To contact Hope's Women's Center, call 972-562-4673. This has been Mary Beth Plaster and Emily Hauser, reporting for MHS1.
Coach Hurst has changed the lives of many through physics and track. She's never failed to open up about her struggles. Mental health can often be overlooked within teachers. Sarah Hamadi and Carson Gorman give us the story.
Coach Hurst, physics teacher and track coach, did not find her passion in running right away, trying many sports and struggling before success.
When we moved to California, my dad had started running, and he decided that running would be good for me. It had been a really hard move. Moving in 8th grade is rough, and so I had gained some weight, and my dad had kind of had to run. He was like, let's do this. So he signed me up for cross country my freshman year, and I never attended a single practice. But we did go. He took me out, and I remember it like it was yesterday, but my very first 10 minute run, and we ran much less than a mile, and I came home and I laid on the floor, and my stepmom told him that he couldn't do this to me. It wasn't going to work. And 6 months later, we ran a half marathon, which was 13 miles.
Her and her father had always dreamed to run the Boston Marathon together.
We used to joke about how cool it would be to run the Boston Marathon together. But it was something that we really thought would never happen. We were slow, and you have to raise a lot of money to be a charity runner, and we hate asking people for money. So we kind of joked about it. But when we moved to McKinney in 2015, my dad actually qualified. He ran a time that would get him in. Everyone has age group and gender times. And I was like, I can do this. I'd never run a marathon, but I was logging pretty good mileage, and I figured, why not? So I tried to qualify in New Orleans and got pulled off the course. And then I was kind of hesitant to start again, but my dad had already qualified and we said we would do this together, and so I was going to find a way. So I ran a race called the Last Chance to BQ in September. It's on a Saturday and registration is on a Monday. It is the last race that you can run in that year. And I ran consistent and smart, and my only goal was qualifying, and I did. And so in 2017, my dad and I we started the Boston Marathon together.
While running was her sweet escape, it was also the gateway to many struggles she had.
What had started as kind of a healthy way to lose weight really turned into an unhealthy eating disorder. I've kind of struggled with anxiety throughout my life. It runs in our family, and the way that I had learned to deal with that anxiety was to control my weight and my food. And I would micromanage every meal, every calorie, every mile that I ran. It was consuming. I really feel like I missed out on a lot in high school because I was so worried about that. And when you look at cross-country runners, the girls who were winning the races and who were getting these scholarships were tiny, and I just never felt tiny enough. And it really just spiraled as soon as I was away from home.
Coach Hurst has learned many lessons from her experience, and this caused her to be more aware regarding eating disorders.
I think the biggest advice I can give is to just focus on your goals and think about what it means to get there. Because I pushed my body until it broke, trying to be what I thought I should be. And I didn't run my fastest times. I'm faster now than I was then. And that was because I learned how to take care of myself, how to really teach myself why food was important and how it was important, and to learn that sometimes it's okay to miss that workout or to eat the ice cream or to take an extra day, and to really just listen to my body. When I look at my kids and I realize how closely they pay attention, and how much my daughter notices when I skip a meal or when I don't really eat anything, or if I'm really tired. And our kids see everything we do, and so do people around us, whether we know it or not. People are watching, and I didn't want to be the reason that someone developed an eating disorder or thought that that behavior was okay.
From struggling during her first run to finishing the Boston Marathon, this has been Carson Gorman and Sarah Humani reporting for MHS1.
This is from what?
When I qualified for Boston.
It's from when Mommy cried, guys, from Boston.
Project Starfall is a sci-fi novel written by a McKinney High student. Emily Hauser and Mary Beth Plaster lead us on this writing journey.
Emma Christopher wrote a book last year titled Project Starfall.
It's about this corrupt organization called Starfall, and they've taken this group of criminals and experimented on them, and so now they're like these animal-human hybrids with the abilities of those animals, and it's just about them trying to escape and fight Starfall.
She is currently working on a sequel to it.
The sequel is going to be Project Starfall, The Anthro Experiments. And so it's just kind of a continuation of this story, but it's from the perspective of some new characters. I've always loved reading, and I guess it just kind of naturally turned into writing my own stuff because, I wanted to write what I wanted to read, if that makes sense.
Emma's passion for animals was incorporated into the book she wrote.
One big inspiration for me is just my love of animals, and so I tried to incorporate just things that I know, and then I did some research, and I just tried to put that into the story. And then also I love the idea of people that aren't necessarily good people, but they end up being the heroes, and so that's a big concept in the story. First came drafting, which some people plan their stuff out. I just kind of like to go for it when I'm writing my first draft and just get it all out, and then I'll go back later and edit it. And then after I do my first draft, I'll do some more editing myself. And then I found a beta reader for this book, so that's someone that just read through it and gave me feedback. I used this publishing platform called CreateSpace. It's like Amazon's publishing platform. And so yeah, I just uploaded all the files and they printed my book.
Emma started writing when she was really young, and her love for it continued to grow as she got older.
I started writing in 5th grade. I started writing this story that I wanted to publish, but then I didn't end up publishing it because I ended up getting better ideas, and so then I started working on something else, but I didn't finish that either until I finally started writing this Project Starfall, and that's the one I stuck with. I'd always loved writing, but I didn't really think of it as a career until I did the whole publishing side of it. And then I ended up really enjoying everything. And so yeah, that's when I decided like this is what I want to do for a living. It was just kind of, just amazing really to have something in my hands that like I'd been working on for, a couple of years. Just, yeah, it was just pretty cool. I did get an email from this one girl, and I guess she lives near here, and so she actually met me in downtown McKinney, and I got to sign her book and talk to her, and it was really great.
This has been Mary Beth Plaster and Emily Hauser reporting for MHS1.
We often forget what makes a community. Part of that is discovering what goes on behind closed doors and talking to those around you. Jason Williams and I bring you life in a story.
My most significant memory was, it was August and we had just bought school supplies, and I remember standing in that Office Depot line, and my legs are just hives everywhere, bleeding, itching like crazy. And I remember my mom turning and looking at me and saying like, "Valerie, stop, you're being dramatic, stop itching your legs." And that kept happening over and over again. Started to realize something isn't right here.
After realizing something wasn't right, Valerie went to many doctors to try to find a solution to this sudden problem.
They each said that the situation was so unique in the fact that all my symptoms were only showing up on my legs. They'd never seen any of that before. And the hives would look different each time, so they didn't know what it was. It was very all over the place, so they couldn't pinpoint anything.
After months of missing school and endless hospital visits, Valerie ended up back at her general physician.
He kind of did the process of elimination, and we kind of figured out that it probably had something to do with swimming. My body gets triggered into anaphylaxis when I'm near chemicals like chlorine, bromine, iodine, and then also when I'm super stressed out. It was hard because I've been a swimmer my whole life, so it didn't seem fair that I didn't get to choose when I wanted to end. It's so hard to stand on the pool deck every day and like watch all my friends swim and not be able to do it. Things will always work out, but you kind of have to fight for them to. I always kind of knew that we would hopefully find an answer, or just alleviate all the stress of it, but it definitely took, I would say, a lot of perseverance on my end.
Valerie is passionate about whatever it is she's interested in. She's very outgoing. She has a lot of empathy for other people and concern. She is a smart kid and she is a fun kid. She has a great sense of humor. I think she's been a great fighter through all of it. She hasn't let it beat her at all, and it's rough. When she has a bad reaction, it shuts her body down for a couple days. You know, she has to go to bed to get over it. I mean, her body just shuts down. Yeah. She fights through it. I think she's worked really hard to try to control her triggers, and I think it's been really hard for her not to be able to swim because, you know, the McKinney High School pool is a public pool and it has a lot of chemicals in it, and they have to do that, but that really affects her. And I know she misses that, but she accepts that her life is such that she won't react if she stays away from it.
When you miss as many days of school as I did, and when you had that many AP classes and extracurriculars, it was incredibly easy to get stressed out. It taught me that like stress is always going to be inevitable, but there's really nothing I can do about it besides just like handle it the best way I can and still leave time to do the things that I care about doing.
This has been Jason Williams and Annika Newland reporting for MHS1.
The 2018-19 school year is coming to an end. What better way to celebrate the ins and outs of the past 9 months than with a yearbook? Many groups participated in our first ever lip sync battle. Some did it for fun and others did it to make an impact. Maddie Newkirk gives us the story.
Cool? Are we good? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think we did fantastic because we are just natural work performances on the stage. We have a strong stage presence. Yeah, we go together like peanut butter and ham. Yeah.
For junior Vince Leon and Keandre William, the lip sync battle was more than a competition.
We decided to perform Pray by Justin Bieber because it's not sometimes like, there's been like so many people that have been struggling so much with their situations and going through a lot of problems. So when we sing this song, we just wanted, people to know that there's always God that's there for you, and all you have to do is just pray, and then He can make your life better, and just to stand up to your life and your dreams.
Other groups did the competition just for fun, especially the winners, Danny and Adar.
We were not expecting at all to go anywhere further than maybe not last place. That's what we were trying to go for. Maybe not the worst, Like we were practicing outside, and I was telling him, shoot, what are my lines? Things like that. I was nervous. He was nervous. But I don't know. I thought once you get into the groove of things, we figured it out. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
This has been Maddie Newkirk, Hassan Ijaz, Jawan Palma, Cam Johnson, and Ali Vanderzeel reporting for MHS1.
The McKinney Mavericks took a trip to the Special Olympics and competed against other great athletes from the Collin County area.
Last week, our very own McKinney Mavericks participated in the Special Olympics and took home various awards.
What I'm most excited is all of the events that we have here in Special Olympics, even though I love getting to know a lot of my friends that are still here at this middle school, but also the ones who go to my high school in McKinney High.
As a parent, this is my daughter's first time, so it's been just an amazing time just seeing the whole community together, all the communities from around, and seeing her just with the big smile on her face as she was enjoying her run, and then as soon as it was over, she was ready to go again. So it's just a real joy to see her and to see all of these athletes out here having a blast.
The Special Olympics gives students the opportunity to experience the enjoyment of sports.
I think it's just a really fun thing for them to get to do, and it gives them a chance to do a sport and just have a good time.
This has been Cam Johnson and Ali Vanderzeel reporting for MHS1.
Thank you! Bye! And that's all we have for you today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Mainstream News.
And add us on Snapchat and follow us on Instagram at MHS Mainstream. And remember, if it's news
and it's at McKinney High School,
it's MHS1.